Welcome to Nature Approved, a show about living life naturally in the Texas Hill Country with your host, Bruce Deuley, a local conservationist and nature expert. Nature and healthy living in the Texas Hill Country. And now, Nature Approved.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Nature Approved. A lot of things we're going to talk about this morning. In the second half, we're going to do a really neat cooking show. A guy named Brent Alt from down in Comfort, High's Cafe on High Street in Comfort. But before that, I have a friend I've known, 10, 15 years.
Almost 20.
Rick Wright. And Rick Wright is, I guess this is a plural word, a permaculturist.
That'll work.
There's a lot of letters there. But they teach permaculture classes, and he's going to tell us what is permaculture. We'll start from there, right, Rick?
We call it a sustainable approach to, a system approach to sustainability. How's that?
That's a lot of words, too. Okay.
That's the shortest
about what it means.
Come up.
Right.
It's taking everything you know and tying it together as a system, how things work off of each other, how we can integrate all of those things in our daily lives.
We've talked a lot here on natural, sustainable growing, and it's sort of, that's this, taking another step. I mean, am I sort of doing that the right way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get into it?
A friend of the festival was staying at the ranch, and he kept after me until I finally got it and realized that it was something I've always done anyway. And then we started putting the course together.
Mm-hmm. And you've had the course of one kind or another for several years out there.
We've had 5 courses out there so far, annually.
Now, what is this about, a natural building?
Right. We had the Natural Building Colloquium out at the ranch in 2007. And we had 49 presenters and built a number of permanent structures out there that we use every day. During the festival, especially for a new staff quarters and a chapel on Chapel Hill that was designed by Sunray Kelly. And we've got some local natural builders that have helped out, and it's a good way. We've got a lot of great examples of natural building. Like
Cobb homes?
Cobb.
So 2 weeks ago, we had a lady with a beautiful Cobb home that lives in Mountain Home.
Yes.
Beautiful home.
Yes, it is.
Any adobe? Does that work?
Straw bale, adobe.
Absolutely.
Yes. Earth bag. We've got different textures, interior, wall textures, timber frame. As I said, 49 presenters in 2 weeks.
Any Earthship design?
Not yet.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do know Earthships.
I've been through several Earthships in Taos, New Mexico.
Right.
The guy that used to play Chester on Gunsmoke.
Yes.
We can't think of his name. He's passed away since then, but he was really big on it, and he was a native. I met him several times in Taos, and he was really promoting Earthship.
Yep, I saw his movie.
Labor-intensive to build.
Very.
But boy, once you got it, it's like zero input-output. It's evidently a really efficient way to live.
Right, and it's an integrated system also.
Yeah, it looks like we might have some photos up there. Want to bring them up?
Yeah.
Here we go. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, that's a sandbox for the kids. They put a living roof on it. We probably got another shot that, there we go.
Cute.
Lounging, yes. It's again, a cob structure lends itself real well to freeform design.
Tell them just in a sentence what cob is, because most people don't know the word.
Straw and sand and clay. And the cob is a technique. It also incorporates the size of the unit. Is a cob that you can transport. You know, you can sit in a line and you can manufacture these soft clay, straw, that then
blocks.
Build up. Yeah. They're not
this.
blocks because they're soft. They're still soft and malleable, and you can then. You build up in layers and let it dry in between each layer, and use a cob to sew it together, if you will.
Very interesting. Look at that. Now, is this at your place?
No. This is one I just pulled out of the.
Oh, all right.
Pulled out of some of our slideshows, and these are some of our folks. Now, one of the on the right is that is at our place. We got into a late night repair on the adobe wall, the adobe front of the Mixmaster at the festival.
Yeah. And the one thing, now you coat that adobe afterwards, I'm gathering, with gunite or cement, or what do you guys use?
No, it's natural.
Even in this weather?
Even in this weather. Now, it wears because of the sun mostly.
Right.
So we've done big overhangs over most everything to keep the sun off and keep the rain off. So
now, you guys offer a course in this, right? That's part of what this is.
We will have another. Our plan is to have another natural building colloquium in 2012, where we will. It's a 9-day event actually that incorporates from all over the United States and other places in the world that have been doing the same techniques for years. Now, our permaculture, which actually natural building is just a part of permaculture, so. Our permaculture design certification course we do in the fall. It's 2 weeks. It's very intensive, and
I mean, it's all day for 2 weeks. I mean, you're there every day. You
every day.
Literally take time off work for this one.
Yes, 8 to 12 hours a day. We go on site visits. We do a lot of. We start out with the basics and go into trees. There's soil. We cover all the climatic factors. We talk about organic gardening as being part of permaculture, rainwater collection, solar. We try to tie it all together. So, and do it pretty well.
And you guys have had some pretty successful classes out there in the past, I know.
Yes, we have a great teacher that comes in from the Drylands Permaculture Institute, and he's done several of our sessions with then some other folks from Austin, and try to get several teachers, several presenters in specific areas in their professions. So,
well, I don't know if you get to catch our show very often, but in the next 2 weeks or 3, we have a guy named Dave Pennington.
Okay.
And Dave builds from cardboard. And
is this Papercrete?
Yeah, Papercrete.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a Papercrete builder. He's got a couple of buildings up. We're going to try to put a big one down here.
Excellent.
And he's also an aquaculture specialist. That's his real field.
Okay.
He does total aquaculture, which is a great permaculture kind of thing.
Exactly.
It's having the plants, and the plants feed the fish, and the fish feed the plants, and it's a total enclosed system.
Right.
So he's going to be one of our guests. Well,
now there's also green building, which is more of a Papercrete thing. The natural building uses the straw, clay, timbers, things like that, rock, stone.
Sure.
So the green building uses more green techniques, and we have several examples of that on the ranch also.
Yeah, there's a green builder, named Amazon Gridwall.
Yes,
and that
we have several examples at the ranch of his product.
Oh, okay. Well, Orb Summerall.
Yes.
And it was a 60-40 or 60-50 mix of either gunite or cement and styrofoam that's ordinarily thrown away.
Exactly.
And
they use waste
I have about 50 of the blocks at my house. They're 4 foot long, 8 inches wide, 2 feet high, and they still only weigh 62 pounds.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And our value is tremendous.
44.
Yeah. Our value, if you all understand, that's the higher the better.
Yep.
Within limit.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I want you to come back, though, more occasionally, and let's really start promoting the permaculture thing.
Good.
And
we'll have the class in October.
Off the air, but I want you to call on my radio show, too.
All right.
We can talk on
We can do that.
Thanks for coming in, Rick.
You bet. Thank you, Bruce.
I'm going to break away for a minute. Thank you, folks. Back after this. Thanks, Rick. You can just sit in with us. You want
The Family Sports Center is dedicated to changing people's lives. Family Sports Center is a quality wellness workout facility serving all ages and fitness levels, providing fun, energetic program with an attentive and knowledgeable staff. Family Sports Center has been serving the community for over 50 years with a wide variety of group exercises, both aquatic and aerobic, racquetball, weights, cardiovascular equipment, and educational seminars. Family Sports Center can put you on the road to a healthier you.
I'm here in the sanctuary at Trinity Baptist Church. Each Sunday, our congregation gathers here to worship our Lord in this very room. Our pastor brings an inspiring message, and our choir and praise team bring God's word to us through song. We do our very best to praise God, but our best would be even better if you were to join us. We invite you to Trinity Baptist Church at 800 Jackson Road for our 8:30 or 11 a.m. worship services. We hope to see you here.
Crickets, serving downtown Kerrville with 25 years of excellence. A unique specialty shop with peerless name brand merchandise like Vera Bradley, Caspari, Willow-Tree, voted best gift shop in Kerrville. Crickets, an enlightening shopping experience.
Hill Country Living, a store full of gorgeous home accents. All your favorite name brands like Wedgwood, Lennox, Spode, Avia Tree, best store for 3 years. Beautiful Pardine jewelry, bridal registry. See us on Facebook.
You want your home to feel just right. Trane takes care of that, keeping you warm in the winter and cool when it's hot. Year in, year out. Using up to 60% less energy. Because with a Trane home, everything is just right.
When you want the best, call D&D Mechanical for your heating and air conditioning service.
It's hard to stop a train.
Hey, welcome back to Nature Approved. We've invited Rick Wright to sit in, so if he has to add anything, I think he'll gladly do it for us. Kim's come in to say good morning and kind of
good morning, Bruce.
Run the show because I always mess it up.
And I'm just so happy you brought Goldie with you.
I brought Goldie. I showed her in the last show. We may do it the last few minutes of this show.
Yeah, put your back on.
Ordinarily, she gets to fly for 30 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
She's like a puppy. When she first gets up, she's got way more energy than she needs to. So she's kind of grouchy if you put
That's how my parrots are. Well, we wanted to plug the Permaculture Bible. And it's written by Bill Mollison, who I understand from Rick is from Australia. So this is published through a publisher in Australia?
I'm not sure, but it's available easily.
But anyway, a practical guide for a sustainable future, Bill Mollison. Bill Mollison, here we go. So you can see that. And we're going to zero in on that. So there you go. Isn't that beautiful? I love that picture. So sweet. Okay, so I understand it's kind of pricey, but maybe you could get a used copy somewhere. And then I would look online.
Yeah. Amazon.
Well, it's from Island Press, so it's here in the States.
American.
American.
It's American made.
All right, there's that.
Okay, let's go on with some stuff. I'll give you
we got some interesting things you're going to talk about.
We'll start out, and we're going to try to do this in order, so if there's pictures, we can see them. Hawaii, House Bill 1534, will make them, every product they sell that has any genetically modified organisms in it of any kind will have to be labeled in the state of Hawaii.
Why is it just in the state of Hawaii?
Because the United States, as much as I love my country, is the most backwards country in the world. They don't want you to know. Their idea is, they said, if we tell you, it implies that there may be something wrong with it. And in the government's eyes, it's exactly the same, so therefore we shouldn't have to distinguish it. But personally, especially with the upcoming salmon, which will be available this fall or next spring, I want to know I'm eating a genetically modified animal. It'll be the first one ever fed to humans on Earth that we know of.
Yeah.
And so
it's a big experiment.
Yeah, and we're the guinea pigs in the United States. The European Union doesn't think that way. Most of the other industrial civilized nations don't think that way. So now at least Hawaii is jumping the gun. And the cool thing is, if several of these states do it, it'll force these manufacturers to put it on there, because they can't be labeling what's going to Hawaii and then labeling something else that's going to Kansas. So that's the direction they're going. The Bonner Soap Company. You've never bought. They are now.
Dr. Bronner.
Dr. Bronner's soaps.
Oh, yeah.
Have now forced the Whole Foods Company to start labeling all their stuff more honestly in the way of cosmetics and liquids and everything. Excellent. So the law never got enforced or got put in place. But because they're so powerful, a number of the companies like Kiss My Face and a number of them that claim to be green were really greenwashing their products. Now they're going to have to tell the truth. But Whole Foods is such a force that's going to force them to do it in their entire market.
Yeah.
So that's the way you can pressure them, even though our government is backwards. about green. Matter of fact, I don't know if you heard yesterday, they're going to defund the EPA so that we no longer are going to protect our air again, thinking that that's a smart move, and when indeed it's just putting off today what's going to be more trouble tomorrow.
That's true.
So anyway, bless Hawaii.
Yeah.
I like them anyway, been there and love it. This we talked about. I guess I should do this in order. Let's do this in order. This one's an interesting.
For Bryant's sake, let's do it.
We're going to look at Coca and Pepsi now, Brian. Coca-Cola and Pepsi. The caramel coloring in Coca-Cola. I don't know if you've ever made caramel at home. You had to make caramel? You just burn sugar.
Burn sugar, yeah.
It's a controlled burn sugar.
And
sugar
lots
burn.
of smoke.
Well, it's not when you get it, the caramel in Cokes and Pepsis. It is an entirely synthetic chemical that just colors it and tastes like caramel, but has nothing to do with sugar or anything caramel. And the problem with it is, and I'll quote it at the end, chemicals results in the formation of two substances known as 2-MI and 4-MI, which the government-conducted studies show causes lung, liver, and thyroid cancer, and or leukemia in every rat and mouse that they tried to test.
So who's experimenting on this?
The government. It says two government-conducted studies. It does not. The Americans National Toxicology Program says there's clear evidence that both of them are animal carcinogens and therefore pose a risk to humans. Another reason not to drink Coke and Pepsi, besides the fact that the majority is now aspartame, there's the diet soda market is about twice as big as regular. Why, folks, I don't drink soda, but if I would, I'd drink the real thing. I sure as heck wouldn't drink synthetics. Having said that, the Coca-Cola people 2 years ago forced the American government, the United States, to allow them to start using stevia in their Cokes. They use it everywhere else.
Here's my big question about stevia, because I want to introduce stevia. It's very important because I use a lot of stevia. And people complain about the taste. Well, it's probably because they're using too much of it. I mean, you just need like, I think 10 times less equivalent to sugar or something like that, maybe even less.
Use a small amount.
Why is it that companies are not putting stevia in their products?
It's been illegal.
I know.
Now it's not going to be illegal, and you will see it in their products. There's already.
Why was it illegal?
Because the aspartame and sugar industry together were so strong at lobbying that they would not allow it to come into the country. It's been used for literally thousands of years where it comes from, and for the last 30 or 40 years in Japan, it's the #1 sweetener besides sugar that they use. All of their Cokes have already had stevia in them for years.
And stevia is a plant.
You can grow it. You can go buy it.
Yeah, you can grow it. And I even get green. I order green stevia, which has a little more earthy taste, and I use that all the time.
Well, if they're curious about the taste, first, anybody uses any artificial flavor, they actually acquire the taste.
Yeah.
They don't like it when they use it. Some, like the old saccharin, was awful.
Oh.
But once you acquire the flavor for stevia, and even if you use regular sugar, then it tastes funny a little bit. So it's what your body gets used to. I like NOW, and it comes with inulin and chromium in it. I like Sweet Leaf, which was the first guy to bring stevia in the United States. He had to fight the government to do that. And they had to put it in as a non-nutrient substance, not as food. We've just been able to now, in the last, since Coca-Cola.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Well, since Coke, what Coke did is just force the government to let them do it. And they wanted to get a GRAS rating, GRAS, means generally recognized as safe. That means you can do anything you want with it. The government will not give us a GRAS, even though stevia has been used in it. We have no side effects anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world with it. It's got to be one of the safest sweeteners you can get.
It's a shame that it seems like everything's turned topsy-turvy, like the things that are bad for you and that are known to cause cancer and other problems in your body, that your body just is rejecting it, basically. Those things are being promoted and are legal and are on every restaurant table, in their little packets. And then the things that are good for you, that are safe, are the ones that are being...
Here's my take on that, and this is me. I'm not quoting anybody. It's because you can't make any money on natural stuff. You can't make better manure than manure. You can't make better sweetener than God's sugars that he gave you. They want a chemical they can patent. They want a chemical they can control. They want to be in charge. Yeah. Right now they've made a new sugar called neotame, a new artificial, because aspartame, the 17-year limit or whatever it is, the patent is running out. So now Monsanto, which that's a story in itself, owns, and you know how much I love Monsanto, they bought it from the cereal company when, the week after Donald Rumsfeld went to work for the government. Rumsfeld owned or was the operating CEO for Searle, and 3 days after Reagan became president, it became legal to use.
Yeah.
It's a story you don't even want to get into.
Well, I thought he was also behind aspartame.
Yeah, they're saying it's all those artificial sweeteners. Yeah, well, aspartame.
Aspartame.
Yes,
Aspartame.
yes, that's it.
I call it
it's equal.
I like that.
It's the same thing.
Kind of like Penelope.
Anyway, it's just one of these things that I think people ought to be aware of. Then you go make your decision. But if I just heard this, let's pretend I'd never seen a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go drink a Coca-Cola. And I shouldn't pick on Coke or Pepsi. All of them have the Dr. Pepper, which is still owned by whoever. But soft drinks
let's say soft drinks.
They're colored, artificially flavored water. They have no redeeming value. Okay, and even the ones that have real sugar in them.
Right.
The closest one is the one coming out of Mexico now. It's made like the Coke was 30 years ago. It's real sugar, it's real caramel, however you say it, and you can buy it. It's marked plainly, made in Mexico. Believe it or not, the people that own the company own Camp Verde. So you don't everybody know that. Yeah,
I didn't know that was a corporation, but that's
it is. Well, they're big in it.
Oh.
And the past president of the country of Mexico, Vicente Fox. That was where his money all came from. He is Coca-Cola of Mexico.
Did not know that.
Just a little trivia.
Do we need to go to a break? Yeah, go ahead. We're going to take a quick break.
Hey, give me a break. No.
Give Bruce a break.
We'll be back after this with more of Nature Approved. We're going to come back and talk. I want to give you a follow-up on our antibacterial soap we talked about last week.
Now, did we cover the...
The Upper Guadalupe River Authority is your local organization in Kerr County devoted to protecting the Hill Country surface water. UGRA tracks changes in health in our river and creeks and responds to concerns about water quality.
The Upper Guadalupe River Authority also operates an environmental laboratory for all your water testing needs. UGRA is Kerr County surface water resource.
For more information about other UGRA programs, visit us on the web at www.ugra.org. Let's keep our river clean.
Howdy, my name's Kevin Solbrig with Solbrig Hearing Center. Here at Solbrig Hearing Center, we have hearing instruments for almost any hearing loss and any lifestyle. We have hearing instruments for the young and...
Watch it, Buster.
Let's try this again. We have hearing instruments for the young and for the even younger at heart. So if you're having difficulty hearing and understanding speech or don't always understand words clearly, give me a call. 895-5900 is the number.
For advanced fiber optics, data, phone, and internet in the Hill Country, call the first name for Hill Country Technology. Hill Country. It's our first name.
Pretty hard to separate Hill Country banking from Hill Country history. As you might expect, Bank of the Hills is elbow deep in both. Bank of the Hills families have been serving the families of Kerrville, Comfort, and Ingram since before there was an elected sheriff in Kerr County, and will be here for you when you need friendly, fast access to your checking or savings account. We remember where we've come from, and we'll remember you. Bank of the Hills, treating people right in Kerrville, Centerpoint, Comfort, and Ingram. Banking like it used to be.
Hey, we're back. Nature Approved. Let's go into, last week we talked about mostly triclosan, but a number of the antibacterials. So I went digging in through again, and there's a great deal of evidence that the use of any of these antibacterial soaps in the normal household is unnecessary, causes far more harm than good to both human health and especially to the environment.
Okay, can I interrupt?
Sure you can.
Here's my big question. I don't like using soap.
Okay.
And I've used it all my life. But recently, I'm experimenting with different things when I take a shower, what I scrub myself down with. And then it occurred to me, it's natural to have bacteria on your body.
It's an easier way to say it. It's unnatural not to have.
Exactly.
Not hundreds, but billions.
Right. Right.
billion.
And it helps us, really. It's like, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'm using that.
Imagine what those antibacterial soaps are doing to your septic system.
Oh,
well.
yeah. See, that's the whole
Well,
other...
and the reason we got into it last week, Rick, is they've now proven that it can go through the entire cleanup system of a major city and come out still as triclosan that's antibacterial.
Wow.
It does not break down. It's emasculating the heck out of our frogs. It's one of the big things we're finding out that's causing problems with amphibians. It's emasculating or feminizing some of the small fish. And it just doesn't, it's persistent, it's what they call in the environment. So in a number of, here we go again, a number of other countries have outlawed the use of triclosan, the major one.
Say it again, the word.
The triclosan, it's Triclosan.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a word this long.
Yeah.
We just call it its name because I can't say the rest. But what's coming up, and that's where this thing came from, out of Tufts University, is and the Emerging Infectious Disease Unit in Atlanta, Georgia, which is where all the there you go. There's my baby, not mine. I didn't say that.
Looks just like you, Bruce.
That's me.
Blue eyes.
Yeah, they're starting to establish superbugs. We're now getting bacteria that are resistant to this stuff, and if it's a bad bacteria and it's resistant to it, it's now, we've exactly 180'd what we meant antibacterials to do.
Well, it's the same as when they're giving antibiotics, overdosing people with and animals with antibiotics.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. But 70% of all the antibiotics in the United States go to animals to keep them, to grow them up, to eat them, not because they're sick. It's one thing if an animal
it's like
is
they're
ill.
using it as a preventative.
They give it to a cow so he'll grow faster. They give arsenic, roxazone to chickens so that they have a lower bacteria level so they grow faster. Then you get chickens with arsenic and chicken manure with arsenic in it.
Okay, getting back to what we should wash with in the shower.
In the shower.
Now, I've
Dr. Boner's
experimented.
peppermint soap.
What about, well, that
40
dries out
years.
my skin, even when I dilute it.
It's a soap. It's not a detergent.
Right.
That's right.
But,
it's a natural soap. You can eat it.
What about baking soda?
Baking soda's fine. I was going to let me do the end of this, and then you'll know where I'm going.
Okay.
They did studies, and they used, and everybody's heard the name Lysol, which has got chemicals in it. You know, my dad told me when I was 10, if you can't say it, you ought not to use it. And you can't say what's on the back of a Lysol can.
Yeah.
Okay. Studies did this. They took regular vinegar, just 5%, and hydrogen peroxide. Originally, they put it together, and it stinks. It's not good for you. It puts a gas off. So what we do is...
I wondered about that because I was cleaning my dog's ears with vinegar and hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, do them separate. And you're okay because it doesn't oxidize. It's already oxidized when it hits the floor. But they took meat boards, both plastic and wooden.
Yes.
And they cleaned them with vinegar, did a bacteria count, which was very low, did a great job. Cleaned them with peroxide separately, good count. But if they did one after the other, didn't matter which one was which. Spray it on there and clean it with vinegar, spray it on there and clean it with peroxide. It had a lower bacterial level than Lysol does on every surface they used it on, both as porous and as smooth surface, because there's a big difference in cleaning those two.
You mean when you're using them
I use them I keep them in a $1 spray can.
Okay.
You know, a sprayer.
Together?
I'll tell you what, no, never together, because again, you get an off-gassing that also lowers its ability. We also found that out.
All right.
Because it kills some stuff that's good between it. The chemical interaction loses some of its power. So I keep one and another there because I do a lot of meat cutting. Matter of fact, next week we're going to have a video I did of how to muscle out deer so that you don't have the bone. Okay, I won't explain that. But anyway, spray one.
That's a warning,
Chief. Spray the others. Clean it. Yeah, no blood. And that is the cleanest thing you can do to your body.
Okay, have you heard of this product? And one of our local stores had it, and they don't carry it anymore. But it's on the bottle. It says germ control, and it's spray. It looks like just like one of those plastic spray bottles. It's white, and it's made by Odoban. But I looked at the ingredients, the active ingredients. Ascorbic acid.
Pretty safe. And
silver. And on the label it says they've run tests that's guaranteed to even kill MRSA.
Silver is extremely antimicrobial. Now, I don't believe people that eat a lot of it. You saw that guy a few years ago that turned blue. Did you see him on?
From silver?
From eating too much silver.
Yeah.
It's colloidal silver.
Yeah.
So I don't want to eat it very much.
No.
Well, they do it. Some people claim that it is a...
I know. They use it for antibacterial.
That it chelates your body.
Yeah.
But it's like anything. You know, a little water is really good for you. A lot of water drowns you. That's the same basic with all chemistry. good and bad.
Herbs, whatever.
Even organic stuff. Folks, there is a limit. You know, I eat organic meat, but I can't eat 10 pounds a week. It's going to kill me. We're not made, we are herbivores or omnivores. Yeah.
We're scavengers.
Yeah, we were hunters-gatherers. We did on this last week. Maybe I'll get Rick's feeling in this. We didn't eat grain at all until 10,000 years ago.
What say you?
We went around, we ate the greens, we ate the berries, we ate the nuts.
I used to be a vegetarian.
Yeah.
At least I didn't eat red meat as much. And come to find out, they do a lot of hormones in red meat and things like that.
That's why I don't buy any except what I kill or somebody kills or I raise.
Right.
Yeah, Rick doesn't realize I raise about 300 or 400 pounds of tilapia of my own each year.
No,
I have an enclosed tank, 24,000 gallons. We're going to do it this year. We're going to shoot pictures of it.
Neat.
Anyway, I don't know where we're going with this, except that
antimicrobials.
Antimicrobials, basically, if it says antimicrobial on it, don't use it.
It's not necessary.
If you don't need it, I'll just paraphrase because I had it here quoted and I already closed it. They found out that for all practical purposes, good old soap and water is every bit as good and sometimes better, and on your baby, probably safer than using antimicrobials of any kind. So get it away and stay away. For surfaces, you can use the peroxide vinegar thing. For your own body, find some soap, and we can get you some all-natural soaps that will not be so drying.
Yeah.
They have some other natural aids in them. As a matter of fact, there's some fatty acids in them, some oils.
Okay.
But it's low enough that it still cleans you, but high enough that it lubricates your skin. And
Because isn't it dangerous to like scrape all the top layer off of your skin with something really harsh, like a detergent?
Yeah, they say it renews the cells. You do have dead cells, but you can have dead cells anyway.
You can do that by dry brushing, though.
Well, I see a number of men, it's older than the ladies, and their skin is in better shape. These women have been doing makeup and doing all this stuff all their life, and they've actually ruined what they wanted to save by doing all this to their body. Then you see the guy, he didn't do nothing. Washes his face once a day if he's lucky.
Yeah.
And his skin is insane. I mean, tons of times you see that. Look at his skin. I mean, he's got great skin.
He does.
So anyway, get away from antimicrobials. If you want to clean your kitchen, your bathroom, everything, a mixture, not a mixture, and or at either way, vinegar and peroxide.
Yes.
And most of the time, just vinegar's fine.
Yeah.
I occasionally in the shower will either soak myself with peroxide, then shower it off, or I always rinse my hair in vinegar. No, it's 3%.
You do?
I drink it. I wash my mouth out every day. That's what I brush my teeth with.
I do too, but isn't it a little harsh on your gums?
Well, 3% probably won't be right.
Okay.
Which times you wet the brush and put it on there,
yeah,
it's actually good for your gums. Remember what pyorrhea is. It's nothing but bad bacteria that get between your teeth and your gums.
Sure.
And it's extreme. What are we using it for? To kill bacteria. Now, I buy 35% human grade, and then I break it down 12 to 1 so that I get 3%, the same as you buy. The reason you don't want to use a bunch of the stuff, and this is amazing to me, the 39-cent stuff in the drugstore has got a doggone chemical in it to keep it from breaking down.
Oh, no.
Here's an antibacterial, and they're putting chemistry in it.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if it hurts your mouth or not, but I opt not to. The Deuley rule is if you got a choice, do what's natural.
Yeah.
Do as Mother would do. This is a Mother Nature world. Do we need to break away, or can I go into tilling?
I think he's saying 6 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, let's till real quick. Oh, if it's 6 minutes, do we need to go? We need to do our video.
Rototiller. Okay.
I got it. I'm ready for the rototiller. To till or not to till?
To change the subject really abruptly.
No, we need 2 hours in this hour show.
I know.
Right.
I am started on my subject.
I know.
Anyway,
this is still the intro.
I am a no-till guy to a point. When you first establish an area in a garden, that's the tiller I have. That's fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah, I have the same tiller.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, it is. It's a tractor puller. I love pull tillers, not push.
Right.
I don't like the ones with the tines up front.
Right.
Oh,
They kill
okay.
you.
I
They
got
beat you to death.
Yeah. Anyway, I do believe still that the first time you establish a garden in most areas, you need to till to get some tilth and some oxygen in the soil. After that, folks, when you till, you're lowering the fungal count tremendously because fungus grows in mats and in spores. You start tearing them up. So after you get established, especially if you've got, like me, no soil, I've got to bring it in and get it mixed together and get it going. Okay? And after that, I don't till. I leave what's left on the ground. I plant through it. I leave it for the next season. At best, if I'm not going to do a winter garden, which is the best time to grow here, basically, I do put what's called a green crop or a manure crop in. Okay, sometimes I just use rye, but a lot of times I'll use rye mixed with a vetch or some other legume, and that legume actually puts nitrogen back in the soil for you. Clover is a great easy one to grow. So what do where does this fit in permaculture?
We were eating greens out of the garden last night.
There you go.
So I agree. It depends. If you got to break up caliche, you can do it with the radishes, the daikon radishes.
Oh.
And just plant. Or, like you say, if you want to speed it up a little bit, get your, cover it and till in some vegetable matter, essentially.
Exactly.
Whether it's manure or straw, hay, whatever. So, if you're first starting out, I agree with you. I'd really accelerate the process.
Now, you can do this if you're not in a hurry. And if you've never done this, that's right. Put 6 inches of compost on there last summer, and this summer, when you put your fork in the ground, you can dig.
You can dig.
Those microbes will soften that up and infiltrate that really dead soil.
That's it.
A lot of reason a lot of these soils dead, like these people that have these St. Augustine grasses, and you can't stick a stick an inch down, is they've killed the life in it. They've used synthetic fertilizers, and each time they do, they lose a portion of the beneficial microbes. Well, folks, plants can't live without the microbe. It has to solubilize the available minerals and things to let the grass grow. So that becomes very difficult. We saw the tiller. So now, do we want to break away and bring up the video?
Oh.
I just don't want to run out of time.
Yeah, just continue.
Okay. Well, the next one is eating the rainbow.
Oh, here we go. Gardening. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's lunch.
Oh, there you go.
That
eat
is gorgeous.
And mostly eat it raw. If you really want the best benefit from it. Now, in there, folks, you've got several of the most poisoned vegetables you can buy in the open markets. I recommend always, you don't ever buy a bell pepper. It's not organic. It's one of the top 5.
They don't taste right, the ones you get.
Well, they're one of the most sprayed vegetables, and I don't like because I've grown them. I don't get anything on my bell peppers.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're spraying for.
Yeah.
Okay. The other that is very high end, I don't see it here, but I don't see a lot of fruits. Apples, always. Apples are the most sprayed. Usually they're either first or second. Peaches get it one year, and apples get it the next. Others that watch out for are spinach. Here's another killer, celery, which I didn't know.
I did not know that.
And one that was never even on the list till a few years ago was potatoes. Now they spray, up until a few years ago, they flash froze the potato so that when they put it in the market, the spuds didn't grow. What do you call it, sprouts. Now they run them through a chemical bath. And those chemicals are on that potato, not to say that it may be in the potato. There's lots of cracks in the potato. So I have quit eating. And the good news is I didn't mean that.
Good news is we can grow them here.
They even have organic potatoes.
Local.
That's great.
You can get organic potatoes, you can get organic. And while we're talking potatoes, and it's not on the dangerous list, but I still buy organic because it's cheap. Sweet potato is probably nutritionally a 10 times better value than a white potato.
I heard those are sprayed heavily too.
Well,
so
that's why I
what's
get
the
organic.
key? Well, if you can't afford organic, let's just say,
can you
scrub them?
No. It's systemic.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the plants now, because they've learned, they even, corn, okay? They now put the bug in the I call it the bug, the GM product, in the seed, and it's infiltrated in the entire plant. That's how it ends up in the pollen, and that's how they keep the worm away. It's also how they're killing butterflies and anything else that comes to that pollen. It is a part of the plant. So you can't wash it off.
Yeah.
Now, there's things you can wash off. Back to, what do you use? Either vinegar or a peroxide, or one and the other.
Okay.
It's as good as any of those expensive washers you can get.
There you go.
And I wash mine with Bronner's. I don't own Dr. Bronner's, okay? But it is the best, relatively inexpensive, good soap that's organic that I know.
All right. I'll go back to using it. I grew up using it, and I absolutely tried to brush my teeth with it.
I do it all the time.
But I was like, why did I do that?
I do Bronner's, and you get used to it. You love it. And then I use
doesn't
peroxide.
like my mouth.
Well, there's others now.
Yeah, lavender.
I don't know if they're...
there's hemp. We got to go to break.
Oh, why don't we go to break? Nature approved. We're all sitting having a great time. I hope you are. We'll be back after this with a really I think you're going to have this, you're going to like this video.
Get out your pen and your index card to write down the recipe.
This is going to be good.
We're going to be showing you a great salad to make. Uh-oh.
Oh, they just thought you were mouthing it.
Searching for mouth-watering home cooking? Search no further. Head over to Papa's Barbecue. You'll savor the flavor at Papa's Barbecue in Kerrville. Enjoy all the traditional barbecue dishes, juicy ribs, tantalizing brisket, smoked chicken, as well as Papa's Barbecue tender and flavorful steaks, all smoked and seasoned to perfection. Dine in or carry out at Papa's Barbecue. Papa's Barbecue at the corner of Sidney Baker and Myrta in Kerrville.
River's Edge Gallery, printing and framing with 50 artists represented. Original works and prints, custom framing expertly done with thousands of samples to choose from. Fine art printing on canvas and other papers. Top quality and reasonable, downtown Kerrville.
A child's mind is full of wonder. When you shop at Izzy Bear in downtown Kerrville, you'll enter a world of enchantment, a wonderland of gifts, clothing, and more. Izzy Bear, for your child and the child in you.
Balzer's Northside Automotive is a full-service preventative maintenance and auto repair center that has been performing high-quality, guaranteed automotive repairs in the Kerrville area since 1995. They service and repair all makes, models of domestic and import vehicles using only state-of-the-art equipment. Balzer's Northside Automotive is a family-owned and operated full-service repair and maintenance facility. They only use quality replacement parts, and all the technicians are ASC certified. Balzer's Northside Automotive, 1722 Sidney Baker.
These are the toys of some very happy children, and these toys remind us that children have always held a special place in God's heart. Following the lead of our Heavenly Father, we also value your children, and we strive to love them with the love of the Lord. The Children's Ministry at Trinity Baptist Church invites you to come and worship with us and enjoy the ministries we have for your children.
Hey, let's go right. Brent Alt from Cafe on High Street, or High Cafe in Comfort. Let's take a look at this. You're going to really like it. Hi, welcome to Nature Approved. And we're at High's Cafe and Store in downtown Comfort with co-owner Brent Alt.
Right.
And Brent's going to teach us today, or show us, how he's going to make a quinoa butternut squash salad before your very eyes. So what do we begin with now, Brent? You're going to do the squash to get it cooked first?
Yeah, first thing we're going to start on is the squash today. I took one butternut squash and peeled it. And then, of course, you're going to need to remove the seeds and fiber that's in the middle of the squash. I just use like a soup spoon and scoop that out, get it really clean.
It's really pretty. Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really sweet and buttery when you roast it up in the oven. This is my favorite way to cook it. Then what you're going to do is we're going to dice that into bite-sized pieces. And it is pretty tough, so you want to be careful when you're cutting it that you're protecting those fingers. So we're going to cut it into, I don't know, pretty...
inch squares?
Yeah, roughly. I'd say. Not too small because it will shrink a little bit in the cooking. All right. And we're going to put that in a bowl. And we're going to toss it with a little bit of olive oil.
Good, one of my favorites.
That way it just kind of evenly coats it. I like to do it in the bowl. And I've got a cookie sheet down here.
All right.
And I'm going to put a little bit of a pan spray on here. And we're going to put our squash on the cookie sheet. And I'm going to season that up with a little bit of salt.
Sure.
And some pepper. Very simple. I've got my oven preheated.
Ready to go.
To 400 degrees.
Pretty hot. And about how long will this take?
What we're going to do is we're going to do it for 15 minutes. And we're going to kind of shake it up and turn it around and cook it for another 15.
So you want just al dente. You don't want it...
Right, you don't want it too mushy, but you do want a little bit of the caramelization that takes place when it cooks in the oven. So it'll get slightly browned on the sides, and that's why it's important to kind of flip it around so it doesn't get too dark on one side. Okay?
Very good. Okay, we've done our butternut squash. Now we're going to use quinoa. Brent, tell us just a little about quinoa, because it's a very unique product that a lot of people don't know about.
Yes, I got turned on to this product actually at shopping at Costco.
Free plug.
Yeah, exactly. They sell this in a bulk package, which is nice. Mostly in the grocery store, it's very small. This is an organic product. It's imported from Bolivia. Most of the quinoa comes from South America. This is the best grain you can eat. It actually has sort of a nutty flavor. It is very high in protein. If you have to, trim your diet a little bit with your meat intake, this is a great substitute for providing some of that that you might be getting.
We've made hot cereal out of it for years, like you do cream of wheat. That's the way I ever knew to use it.
So we use it for salads here. Right. Mostly it's great for thickening in soups. Just a wonderful product.
So what do you do next now to prepare it?
All right, so what I'm going to do is very simple to make. We've got 2 parts of water to 1 part quinoa. All right, so I've got 2 cups and I use like spring water or RO water rather than tap water. All right, so for cooking our quinoa, we're going to start off with 2 cups of water into our pot. And we are going to put in our 1 cup of quinoa. We're going to put in, 2-3 bay leaves and a little bit of salt.
Seasoning.
Okay. We're going to turn on our stove and bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling vigorously, then you're going to put the lid back on, cut it to a simmer, and just cook it down until the water evaporates. And it's ready. It's that simple.
Very simple.
Good. Well, now you see that the quinoa is boiling vigorously. That's perfectly. We kind of stir it around, make sure it's getting completely submerged under the water. We're going to cover it, and we're going to cut that fire down to just a real low simmer. And just allow that to cook away. You don't need to do a darn thing except check it occasionally. But I would say about, 10 minutes, that water's going to be gone, and it'll be ready to go.
Good.
All right, so our squash, you can see, has cooked for 15 minutes. We're starting to get a little bit of color on the edges, on the sides. This is good. We just want more of it. And just kind of toss it around, because it can burn if it stays on one side too long. And we're going to go back in the oven for another 15 minutes, and it should be perfect. All right. So here we are with our quinoa, and as you can see, all of that water has evaporated, and it gets these little spriggy, little hair piece things that pop out of it. That means it is ready. We don't want to go any longer with this. And the best way to cool this down at this point, since we're making a salad, is to put it on a cookie sheet and spread it out. And this will cool off a little bit faster than if you just stored it in a bowl. And I just kind of spread it around on the cookie sheet like that. And then I'm going to put it into the refrigerator and let it cool.
Okay, the squash is out of the oven. The quinoa has come out and has been put in the refrigerator. You said 20 or 30 minutes.
Just chill it off.
We've got it all chilled off and we're ready. So now Brent's going to actually run through what he's doing here to complete this salad. One thing I always want to point out, because this is one thing that when you learn to be a chef you do, is everything's ready.
Everything's ready.
People don't do this at home and they run all over the kitchen. If you haven't learned anything else in this shot, this makes you know how to cook. So
and so much can be done ahead of time if you're just a little bit organized. All right, so we've got our cooled quinoa that we've cooled on our baking sheet. We're just going to put that into our bowl. And I think this salad would probably feed, 3 or 4 for a main sort of salad, or maybe 5 to 6 as a side. We've got our roasted butternut squash, and as you can see, it's got some nice brown color on it, which will just bring out the beautiful sweetness in the squash. We're going to add that in to our bowl.
Right.
And now we're going to start adding our ingredients. I've got some golden raisins that we're going to add in. We've got some toasted pine nuts. These toast quickly, so when you toast them up in the oven, keep an eye on them, because they can burn and they are a little pricey.
Yes, we talked about that.
And we've got some sliced green onion that we cut on the bias. I'm going to add those in there. You can already start to see this is, visually, it's a beautiful salad. It's got great color. And then when you taste it, you'll get all the textures
Everything
too.
Healthy so far.
Everything
There's
healthy.
no junk in this salad.
We've got parsley that we have minced up, and I use quite a bit of parsley.
Quite a bit of both.
All right. And I've got this Gala apple here that I'm going to slice up. I'm going to.
Apple.
Yep. It also has great texture. It's not a mealy texture. It has a nice bite to it. And I leave the skin on.
Good.
This is an organic apple. And we're just going to dice it up and add that to our bowl. It really sort of, to me, speaks more like an autumn-winter salad with the apple and the butternut squash, although, you know, this will be good any time of the year.
Yeah, it'd be great as a cold salad.
This is great. I did this at Thanksgiving as a salad, which is kind of a nice change to some of the stuff we typically eat that time of year. All right, so you get to see, again, all these beautiful colors come into and textures. And I'm going to take an orange, and I've got a microplane grater here, and we're going to zest some orange into the pot, which just gives it a nice freshness and zip. We use a lot of zest here at the cafe.
I do when I can get organic lemons, limes, and oranges.
Of course.
I don't zest conventional oranges anymore.
All right, so I'm using about half of an orange. I think that'll be enough.
Great.
And I've got a little bit of these mixed greens, just so we can have a little more variety in the salad, and I think texture and color. And of course, we need a dressing. So we're going to make a very simple vinaigrette. I'm going to use some apple cider vinegar. I've got a little coarse grain mustard. We put a little bit of agave nectar or honey in here, just to kind of take the sharpness out of the vinegar. And I'm basically going to do about a 3-to-1 ratio of oil to vinegar. We're using a good quality olive oil here. And I'm just going to use a fork here to kind of mix it up. And we're just going to add our dressing here. You'll be surprised how much you have to use with the quinoa. It really does absorb the dressing, absolutely. So I'm just going to mix with my hand. I find that's the best way to do this, so that you get everything evenly coated. Exactly. And I can just feel that it might need a little more dressing.
When I was in Europe, I noticed they do a lot more hand work. Everybody here wants to use a utensil for everything. They deterge it with their fingers and their hands.
Well, I always say, get your hands in your food.
Yes.
You know, feel it, love it, mold it. It's just, you have more of a connection with your food than using a pair of tongs, okay? So that's a great looking salad. We're going to plate this up. And you just want to make sure you have a nice kind of even amount of greens versus a quinoa. And we're going to just plate this up on our plate here. Make sure you get all the ingredients. We've got the squash, the apple, the golden raisins, the pine nuts. So all these great textures too. Tartness of the apple, sweetness of the squash, the zip of the zest, a little bit of green onion, the sweetness of the golden raisin, buttery pine nut. I mean, it's just all of flavor in your mouth, just explosion. It's really fun to eat too.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Quinoa butternut squash salad. Available at High's Cafe, or your home if you choose to do it.
The proof is in the pudding. So we decided if we want to make this, we might as well eat it. So I sat down with Brent at his place on High's Cafe, and we're going to have a little bit of Chardonnay, which I think goes well with it.
I do, actually, yeah.
It's a good with your veggies, and we're going to try some quinoa and butternut squash salad.
You let me know what you think.
I will. I'm not going to eat the bay leaf first. It's great. It's smoother than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's a really refreshing salad, folks. You can get all the flavors. I can taste this my first bite. I've got a raisin. I've got some orange. I can taste
Isn't that great?
butternut. What a great mix of flavor.
I love the squash. And you know, this is just a great side veg. You know, you can simply roast the squash up.
Oh, yeah.
And just eat it that way. It's so good. Maybe a little fresh thyme on it. Oh. But the salad is so good. And you'll notice after you eat it, too, you feel satisfied, but you're not full.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not kind of that bloaty feeling that you sometimes get when you're eating kind of a heavier plate. This is just delicious. And with the Chardonnay, I think it's great.
Yeah, is this one mine? I'm left-handed. I do it backwards.
You have that one.
Thank you. Goodbye. I want to thank Rick Wright for coming in. Rick's been a friend of mine at least 10 or 15 years. Permaculture, you know anything about it, let us know. Go to permaculture.org. Kim, forever, thanks for the video. You did a great job.
You did too, Bruce.
And I brought Goldie to say goodbye. So we'll see you next week for Nature Approved.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey, be a good girl.